Hey folks, welcome back to Hot Tub Beer Review. Today we're going to Boulevard Brewing Company. We're going to have Tank 7. It's from Kansas City, Missouri. Stay tuned, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where these three guys here give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. And we are back once again to do that. If this is your first time joining us, we definitely appreciate that. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. If you've watched any of our videos before and you come back for more, we appreciate that as well. Thanks for joining us again. I've got Andy and Attic. I've got Jay. As always, I'm Ben. What are we drinking today?
Tank number 7. It's American Saison from Boulevard Brewing Company, part of their Smokestack series. I'm intrigued and thirsty. Let's open.
All right. This one is a little foamy for me.
Does that mean I need a towel?
You might.
Yes.
Very foamy.
Actually, it wasn't that bad.
Yep. Don't know why it's so foamy, but it is.
Just a little hit.
Just a little. Yeah.
Tank number 7,
well,
as the can says, is cantankerous.
These are pretty well carbonated type style of drink. So this is the American version of Belgian style Saison. Yeah. 8.5%, 38 IBUs. I'll get when we're ready to drink, and then I'll get back to another descriptor for it.
I can drink some foam. Yes. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
That's pretty good. So, again, 8.5%. Is that 38 IBUs? I would mention the standard reference method, but they describe the color as the European Brewery Convention. I did not know there was another one. So there are two scales in which to rate the darkness of your beer. So the standard reference method is what we use in the United States. When you shine the light it's like how much light emits through a centimeter of the beer. So, oh, bully. There we go. So both method, and I wanted to get this verbatim. So this one is a European Brewery Convention scale of 12. But the difference is both methods involve measuring a beer sample color in a cuvette that is placed in a spectrophotometer at a wavelength of 430 nanometers, in case y'all are keeping track of that. However, standard reference method color is measured using a half-inch cuvette, whereas EBC color is measured, so the European Brewing Convention color is measured using a 1 centimeter cuvette. So here we go, imperial versus standard measurements.
So 2.54 to 1 inch and on the half-inch. So,
and then the EBC color is approximately 1.97 times the SRM color. So 12 divided by 1.97, I guess, would give you the SRM. which, Ben, if you'll hold yours up, your beer, please. A little haze to it, but
it's a lighter color.
technically a low number.
Yeah.
So not very dark. So a low score because of the lightness.
I will have to say, never did I think when we started talking about doing a lame beer show, would there be so much like engineering and math involved in what we're talking about? I never thought that, you know.
You could take this lame beer show and make it lamer.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody is still watching, then they must come from that sort of mathematical background, which I do not. So
for everybody else who might be watching, except for our single fan who's been with us, they know of the first review that we did of Boulevard Brewing Company, which was what, Ben? What, Ben?
Berry Noir.
Close. So close.
So close.
Noir.
Yeah.
Noir.
So hopefully Ben will put a link to Berry
Noir. Nope. Noir.
There you go.
No,
Just think of it this way, Ben. No
Noir.
R.
Noir.
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 That'll give you more complete history, but I'll kind of recap. So it was founded in 1989. It's a regional brewery, Kansas City, Missouri. And the well, before I get back to that, let's go back to Tank 7. Sorry. Tank 7, it's given that name because of, as Jay, you referenced that, it was made in the number 7 fermenter tank in their brewery. That was an unreliable tank that they found in past attempts at brewing things. So they were using it more as an experimental tank, and they were using this was going to be the base for their Saison Brett. But what they it would sit in there forever. I don't know how long, which they were needing to make it. But the workers by the end of the day would pour off some of the beer and sit around and drink it, in the evenings after work was done. So they realized, oh, it's actually pretty good on its own. And so we'll make it an actual beer. And so it's provided year round. And it won the gold medal at the Great American Beer Fest in 2020. So hence the homage to Tank 7. So again, back to Boulevard Brewing. Started in 89. In 1984, the founder was traveling through Europe, and he tried Belgian beers, and he just was really hooked on them. He tried a bunch, as many as he could get. So we discussed, he came back. You couldn't get that around, especially he was a Midwest guy. At that time, it was dominated by the macros, and nobody was giving Belgian style beer then. So he wanted to make his own and wanted to brew it for others. So, but he was a carpenter by trade. So he bought a place, this big brick building downtown, worked, and he had his carpentry workshop in the corner of it so he could work and start brewing, and slowly grew from, distributing kegs around the city to bottling, and eventually expanded. And they say they're the largest specialty brewer in the Midwest. They distribute to 41 states and DC.
Mississippi is not one of those 41 states.
No. Didn't I text y'all? Did I text y'all the other day? Did I have a Boulevard? It was something else.
Yep. It was another Oklahoma beer.
Prairie. Yeah.
It was Prairie.
Yeah.
Okay. So I could have sworn they had a Boulevard up there. Oh well. Yep. I was getting excited. All right, I'm gonna shut up and drink.
All right. Yeah, I think that so this is one that I picked up in my travels to and from Colorado. So in kind of that time frame. I picked it up on the way. So typically I drive to Colorado from Mississippi. It's a very long drive, especially with the children that I have in the car. So I have to stop the first night and get some beer. And this was one that I grabbed and thought it would be a good one, given that we had done the Berry Noir beer.
Noir.
Yeah, we've
Come on,
done that
Ben.
one.
Come on, Ben.
So yeah. Check the outtakes if you want all my attempts at trying to
Some
say
growth.
that. Anyway, so this is one I grabbed. I saw Boulevard, so this is one I grabbed to try myself, and then added it to the mix that we would eventually review, and here we are. So yeah, glad to give this one a shot here on the show. So I've had it, thankfully, which means I get to go last. So
Have you?
I have. I got a 6-pack. I drank, some of the others before tonight.
Any of them.
Oh, you were so righteous, not too long ago about how you want to wait.
You didn't even log them though.
try
You were
new
trying to be
stuff.
sneaky about it.
Well, I like to wait, yes, but I had to buy beer then. So I bought the beer and I bought a 6-pack because I can't buy it with individuals at this little store I stop at. And so, you know what? I saved 3 for this review.
Okay. I'll go first since you and Andy both have had it.
Andy, you've had it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
A couple of times,
So
actually.
when I was telling you, I was like, they did distribute to Mississippi. My old beer shop before it closed from the pandemic had it. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I rather enjoy this. I don't know. It's got a good different type flavor to me. Maybe it's some of the the Belgian-y part of it, but I really like it. It's got good flavor. Not much I can complain or talk much about on it. I think I'm going to give it an 8. It's a good beer. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Andy, I'm going to make you go next.
Yeah. I really don't remember. I know it had it, but I didn't look at the score. So I'm going on now since it's been some years and my palate has changed actually. So I can detect a touch of like lemon peel right at the end, that type of bittery taste. It doesn't really detract from the overall, but it's got a little fruitiness, very carbonated, brings in the burps, but it's a nice little drink. I got it in the fridge only, I think, a little less, about 2 hours prior to the, I forgot to actually put in there after I was researching it. So I'm wondering if colder, if it was a little more chilled, if it would taste any better or if it would change the taste at all. Regardless, I would drink it again, seeing that I have, well, no choice since you provided it and forcing us to. I'll give it a 7.5. I like it.
All right. So so I picked this up in a 6-pack, I believe. And got it in, gosh, where do I stop? I'm blanking on where it is. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But when we had the Berry Noir,
Getting close.
I wanted to, we'd had that Boulevard. It's the first Boulevard beer I'd ever had. So when I went to the store and I saw this, I grabbed it. I didn't care what it was. I was just like, I'm grabbing another Boulevard. It was the only one they had that was from Boulevard at that store that I stop at. And so I wanted to grab it and try it because the Berry Noir is really, really good. I really like that one. So that being said, when I first had this, I did not like it. The first time I had this, again, it was cold. I'd been dealing with 3 screaming kids for 12 hours. It really shouldn't matter what beer I drank, but man, I got this one. I was like, I don't know about it. It just wasn't my thing at that point. So what did I do? I thought, hey, I've got a 6-pack. I'm going to give 2 of them to my buddies. Right?
And
That's
what
you
do you know? We both kind of like it.
You both kind of like it. I think
Is
for
what
me,
it is.
yeah, I think for me, it has a little bit of my favorite word. It has the twang to it, right? It's got a little, just something that kind of bites me that I don't necessarily dislike with this beer, but I also don't necessarily like. And maybe it's that lemon peel that you're talking about, Andy. I hadn't thought that before you said it, but it's not so much a bitter, but it's just a different flavor that I can't put my finger on what it is. And whenever I can't put my finger on whatever that kind of different flavor is, and it kind of just lingers a little bit, for me, that's going to drop the score. So this one's a 6 for me. It's okay. You hand me one, I'm going to drink it. I'm not going to complain. We'll have a good time. But do I have to go out and am I going to buy one if it shows up at my local bottle shop? I'm not, for me personally. It's just okay. So
I think the Berry Noir set the bar high for
Man.
Boulevard.
it's way up here.
So you didn't see that out there, huh?
I did not. Because if I had, I would have bought
All they had.
Right,
a
bought 'em
bunch.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a bunch, as many I could fit in the van coming back. So that will be a 7.2 for Tank 7. Hey, it's in the 7s. I think we mashed it up pretty good here. From Boulevard Brewing Company. Hey, if you've had this one, let us know what you think. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Are we anywhere close? We don't know. I mean, it's unprofessional and somewhat biased. So with that, be sure to like, subscribe, cheers, that notification bell. Check us out on social medias. And if you haven't done so and you're watching this video, you made it this far, stop by our Discord server. Come say hey to us. You can connect with the 3 of us and we'll talk about any kind of beer you're having, any kind of beer we're having that's off air that we're not necessarily reviewing. And we just have a good time chatting about beer. For Andy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.